Hi. Um, it's back after what, 3 months? Yeah, it's been a while. I'm sorry, but hey, uh, Samsara III's back. Yeah, uh, my artistic skill has improved, so let's get into it. From the title, you're probably able to conclude that today's episode is about an ice age, the first Samsaran ice age. In fact, terrestrial life has been on the planet for tens of millions of years, and the world has been pretty much stable since then, or at least as stable as an ecosystem can be. But now the metaphorical poop has hit the fan. Atmospheric carbon dioxide has decreased by a large margin, cooling the planet. Or moon, technically speaking. Anyways, for the first time since Samsara III came into orbit around Samsara III, watch episode 5 for context, permanent glaciers have appeared at the poles, and as such, there is a new biome for life to conquer. And the sea levels have gone down, which is also important. And even on the rest of the planet, the climate has shifted enough to allow for fairly extreme seasonal variation, which means more new niches and requirements for thermoregulation. Oh, and there's like a legitimate looking map now, like a climatological map made by a member of the Discord server, user A Rolling Cube. It's got names and stuff. And like I said earlier, it's a climatological map. I'll put a comparison to Earth up on screen now. Pause the video and look between the two if you want. So I thought it was just fitting that we started off with a plant, because they're kind of, don't get me wrong, animals are important, but plants form the foundation of the ecosystem, so we're starting with them. There are two. First off, we have Pachychalis, name meaning thick carpet. I like the name. Because it is thick and it forms a carpet. It is in a niche similar to lichen or moss on Earth, though it does form a symbiotic relationship with at least one other organism of note. The next plant is Ignicapic. I promise it isn't a Pokemon. It sounds like a Pokemon and it acts like a Pokemon, but it's not a Pokemon. I promise. It is one of the few plants to make it into the polar regions, and as such, its adaptations are quite radical. Radical, dude. You can't see that, but I'm doing the. I don't even know what these hand things are. I might put them up on screen. I don't know. The generic radical skateboarder hand signs. You probably know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, what was I talking about? Oh, right. To survive the cold, it has a sort of internal coolant, but as with most coolants, it's quite flammable. So, to protect from potential pyromaniacal disaster, it jets out the extra coolant from the caps on the top of the stem. These react with the air, heat up, and turn the plant into a sort of organic heater. Like I said, it acts like a Pokemon, but it's not. Obviously, the first animals to conquer the ice were aquatic, and it started with little fish looking guys. The first of which was Pegaschistus. Being the first large organism to make it into the higher latitudes, it's got a basically uncontested dominion for millions of years, allowing for more future diversity than many other clades. The name means ice splitter because the hard keratinized surface on its head can break through thin sheets of ice. Why it would do this is not understood, but it can, and it does. The first of the many, many descendants of Pegaschistus is Peltocephalus. Its name means head shield, and you can probably see why. The ancestral keratin plating has spread throughout the head region, acting as armor. It's also pretty big. I guess it could be described as omnivorous, as it eats more than just one type of food, but not in the traditional sense of omnivory. It is both an active predator and a filter feeder. How did that work? Who knows? Another descendant of Pegasustus. Dactylopterygius, whose name means finger fin, is a small animal with many behaviors similar to some of Earth's fish as it travels in schools. Not much to say about this little lad. It's fairly uninteresting, in my opinion, but it is important on an ecological level. Finally, something that isn't a descendant of Pegasustus. Wait, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean it is? Ah, damn it! Well, here's Chlorophyces. It's a green fish. What else is there to see? It has chlorophyll in its skin, which gives it a bit more energy in a generally food-poor polar seas. Not again. I think this is the last one. Okay? Finally. In my opinion, it's also the coolest. Glacier Rex is the king of the ice, as the name would suggest. An active predator, capable of climbing up on the ice and boasting limited above water breathing. It is the most likely to not die as the climate changes in the future due to its semi-aquaticism. While not social animals in the strictest sense, they do nest in colonies, as shown in this art by yours truly. See, I told you, I'm getting better. Not much better, though. Now, we could go on and on about the creatures of the poles and their many adaptations to survive in such a harsh climate, but that would probably make for an actually good video, and we can't have that, you know? Residing on the large central continent of Chimeria, there are a multitude of beasts descended from some of Samsara III's most prestigious megafauna. Introducing Phytotriches. You know how I said earlier that Pachychalis had a symbiotic relationship with an organism? Well, that's this guy. Phytotriches provides safety and transportation, while Pachychalis provides insulation. It is descended from Bergnatha. I'll admit the art isn't the best, but hey, what can I do? Another Bergnatha descendant, it's Brachypoda. With a name meaning arm leg, it's no wonder that this thing looks like a freak of nature. It is freakishly tall to reduce the amount of its body low to the ground, potentially reducing the amount touching a cold surface. It also has arms, because of course it does. The eyes are on a stalk, because of course it does, but also so it can see better. Okay, this one is a descendant of Bergnatha. So in other words, it's a descendant of Bergnatha. Chloropoda, like Chlorophyces, has chlorophyll in its skin for some extra energy. This art was made by Jasper, or user Jap2009XX on the Discord server. Description. It has long legs, which makes for an effective browser. The green skin, however, makes for poor camouflage, which makes for an ineffective everything. Alright, this guy is the first Tetriskian we've seen in a while. Micromala is a descendant of Therizinochirus, and has developed a primitive hair-like filament on their body. It's more chunky to reduce surface area, which in turn reduces the heat radiated into the surrounding environment. They may be small. What, we're expecting a butt? There isn't one. They're small. The next little rascal is quite unique. Paleochoropagus is a sessile, radially symmetrical descendant of Panoplogarida. It lives on the ocean floor and waits for prey to swim above it before rapidly thrusting forwards to catch it. Its name means old crowned trap because the spiked mandibles on the top of its body are arranged in a way that looks somewhat like a crown. I have a feeling this will be surprisingly successful because it is just weird enough to work. Now here's something. A large flying animal. Considering there's only one lineage of flying animals on Samsara III so far, it's no surprise that they're diversifying quickly. Avrypterus, the broad-winged one, is a large exolapteran that is built for soaring. They're predatory and can get that big due to having evolved a more efficient respiratory system. How? I don't know. It's cool, okay? That's why I did it. It's cool. Its dual pairs of eyes have sort of merged together to provide for better binocular vision, and its spiracles have enlarged, seeming to have almost converged with the air intakes of airplane jet engines. And its face tentacles things have fragmented, giving it a sort of strange finger. I've heard of chicken fingers. I've even heard of fish fingers. But I haven't heard of giant alien dragonfly fingers. A descendant of the most successful terrestrial predatory lineage on the planet, Tenebriphtherium, a sarcocephalian, has adapted to the cooling climate in its own ways. It has become a facultative scavenger, meaning that it will scavenge only some of the time. It is also nocturnal, which has led to a darker skin color and larger sensory organs. Sorry, I had something stuck in my throat. Like other creatures, it has adapted to the Ice Age via gigantothermy, or the biological process of thermoregulation via large sizes. As was said earlier in this series, as a creature doubles its surface area, it quadruples its volume. I think. From what little research I did, that seems to be the consensus. So, it got bigger to have less area to radiate heat from. On to the final creature of the episode. I have one thing to say before going in depth. Heat-chonk. Aerospinus, whose name clearly means air spine, has adapted to the cold by using one of the most effective natural insulators there is to its own advantage, the air. It has air sacs in its body, which increases insulation and buoyancy. While it may seem like that wouldn't help all that much, as it's increasing the amount of surface area, it is also increasing the amount of surface area touching the air. Just remember that water has a higher heat capacity than air, which makes it on average colder. I'll just say this. Keep an eye on this little man. Thank you all for watching. I'm tired, so I'll be brief. I have no current plans for a consistent upload schedule. There, I finally said it. Will people stop, harassing me about it? People don't do it on YouTube, people don't even do it on Discord, but my friends in real life do it. They harass me for not having a consistent upload schedule. But now you're watching this, and I'm just saying, I have no plans for one. I'll try to get one out at least every 2 weeks, but don't hold me to that. The school year is wrapping up, and I have a lot of work to do. Videos will probably be more plentiful come summer when I actually have time. Speaking of time, thank you for lending me yours. Bye.